Welcome to the bold. The most courageous and bold politician within Azimio la Umoja is none other than ODM Secretary General, Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna. And in Parliament today, his presentation is what is told the president today is why you can see in Twitter people are saying William Ruto is going to arrest Sifuna today. And I want us to put something to a context. Disaster management is a shared responsibility of both national and county government. According to the Public Finance Management Act 2012, 2% of revenue to counties is normally set aside for disaster management. However, Sifuna has told the president that counties have failed to respond to the current disaster because government is still withholding that money, and has told off the president about the 10,000 stipend that he gave to the residents in Mathare. And in Parliament, there was total fireworks. When also the Chief Whip, Khalwale, also merged with the opposition to tell William Ruto, or rather the Kenya Kwanza administration, to pay the doctors. This is what unfolded, and that is why there was really big trouble in Kenya Kwanza. Were it not that Sifuna is under Raila shield, Sifuna will be arrested.
Senator Sifuna.
Mr. Speaker, allow me to inform the Honorable Mungatana that in fact the announcement by the President yesterday was on plans that his government is intending to put in place to help the people of Nairobi, and this is coming 2 weeks after people have been moved from their houses, after their houses have been washed away. I was extremely disappointed, Honorable Speaker, that instead of coming and addressing the people of Mathare about what the government has already done, the head of state was talking about things that he's going to do. Where does he think these people have been living for the past 2 weeks? Mr. Speaker, this rain in Nairobi started...
What is your point of order, Senator Fernando?
Mr. Speaker, I rise under fourth schedule on devolved functions, and also section 148 is it of the Public Finance Management Act. Is it standing order number 1 and 105 if you want the standing orders? Mr. Speaker, is it in order for my brother Senator Edwin Sifuna to mislead the House, yet issues of disaster and emergency under the budgeting process by the PMF Act, at least 2% of that money should be allocated fighting disasters, Mr. Speaker? The point I'm trying to make is that the issue of handling disaster preparedness is not an exclusive function of national government. What Senator Sifuna should be telling the nation is what is the Nairobi City County government has done in Mathare before
Senator Gloria, we do not allow understanding orders for choruses in this House. Conclude.
Mr. Speaker, in fact, the national government only come to supplement, Mr. Speaker. So is it in order what Senator Sifuna should be telling the nation, what have they done as a county government to address the challenges while we sympathize and empathize with the people who have been affected in this city? What have they done as Nairobi City County on their 2%? And Mr. Speaker, sir, it is money that is allocated under the county revenue, Mr. Speaker. And for the information of the House, the governor of Nairobi said national government has given support to a tune of 500 million, Mr. Speaker. So you cannot allow Senator Sifuna to get away with misinformation and misleading the country, Mr. Speaker. He should be ruled out of order.
Senator Sifuna, if I got you correctly, you indicated that the head of state came to Mathare 2 weeks after the floods had ravaged the area. And instead of coming to say what the national government had done, he came to state what his government was going to do. Taking it from where the Senator Fernandi has said, that under Schedule 4 of our Constitution, that particular function fairly falls within the county government. Would you still want to pursue that line? Or?
I will absolutely insist on that line, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, if you protect me from these frivolous points of order, I was actually going to tell you what the county government has done. But I was expressing my disappointment. Mr. Speaker, this rain in Nairobi started beating us seriously on the 20th of April. By the 24th of April, we, the leadership of Nairobi, were calling for the national government to declare this a national disaster because our own county was overwhelmed. I hear people parroting about 2% of the resources of the county being directed to the disaster account. It's not as if county governments receive all the money that is allocated to them by this house and then separate 2% and put it in the account. As we speak right now, if you are a serious person who follows devolution, you know that the county governments have not received money since January. The equitable share of county governments has not reached the counties by from January. So, Mr. Speaker, when you hear somebody saying talk about 2%, 2% of what? You should talk about 2% of money that you have put in the accounts of the county governments. Mr. Speaker, my disappointment is in the fact that from the 24th of this month, of last month, people have been sleeping outside. Then you come and tell us that you're going to give 10,000 shillings to the affected households. We have lost over 10,000 households, Mr. Speaker. Where do you think these people have been sleeping? That is my disappointment, and I want to dissuade Honorable Mungatana. Don't wait for Ruto's money. It's not coming for your people. Mr. Speaker, as I speak right now as a senator of Nairobi, I can confirm that no money has reached the people of Nairobi from the national government. So don't tell us about 2%.
Senator for Nairobi, in this house we use parliamentary language. If you're referring to a colleague, you refer to them as honorable senator. If you're referring to the president, you refer him as His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya. We do not have a Mr. Ruto. So kindly abide.
I want to advise...
I thought you had concluded.
Yes,
Senator.
Let me make the correction you asked me to make.
Okay,
I want to ask the Honorable Senator for Tana River, the very able Danson Mungatana, do not wait for President Ruto's money. It is not coming. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, the distinguished senator from Nandi, who was the powerful chair of Justice and Legal Affairs Committee, has obviously not read the Constitution. Mr. Speaker, is a senator in order to mislead this House that disaster management is a function of county governments and that the national government can only come in to assist, when in the 4th schedule of the Constitution, the functions assigned to the national government, function number 24, is disaster management. And Mr. Speaker, where a function is shared between national and county, then the national government takes the lead, sets the policy, sets the structures for county governments to follow. And so, Mr. Speaker, my friend Senator Cherargei needs to go slow on county governments and turn his guns on the culprits, which is a national government that is obviously clueless in the midst of a disaster.
As you are hearing, we are unable to concentrate on debate. There's a lot of picketing out there, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, it has been happening every day we sit, and I've come to learn that those are doctors wanting to present a memorandum. Mr. Speaker, sir, could you please order the clerk or your deputy speaker or the leader of the majority to go and receive the memorandum so that they can go away? We continue with our business, Mr. Speaker. No, a whip whips members in the House.
Senator Boni, we are not even sure who these people are. You proceeded to assume that the doctors.
Can come so that we discuss it. Mr. Speaker, we want doctors to go back to the wards to treat the patients. We are tired of buying coffins and attending funerals for preventable deaths, Mr. Speaker. I speak this as the chief whip of the government, and I know that the President of the Republic of Kenya does not want a single person to die. He wants doctors to be in the hospital. If the problem is the minister, fix it. If the problem is the PS, fix it. If the problem is money, Parliament is there, let's vote for it. Doctors must be paid. Patients should stop dying like chicken, Mr. Speaker. I thank you.
So you can see the blow. He has explained it in quite a good manner. The 2% you are asking the counties that what have they spent, and UDA MPs have been asking that question in social media, asking the counties, what have you done with the 2%? And the counties don't have an answer. Why? That 2%, they don't have it to start. In the first place, the 2% that they're being asked, they don't have it because it has not been given to them. Do you remember some time when there were, I think there were some floods in Mombasa? Some people were displaced, if I remember. Then Gachagua went to Mombasa and asked the residents there that, you know, I am going to be there. He was asking what the governor had done, and the governor didn't have the kit. The governors, like in Kisumu, there is a pay bill that Anyang' Nyong'o has shared so that they can collect the money. And yesterday, when William Ruto was talking about Mathare, in Mathare about the 10,000 stipend, he talked about people, we were Kikula, and he was so conscious, cautioning those who would eat that money. Now, the person that manages that kitty, the chair of the emergency response, is none other than His Excellency, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. And I remember in Parliament there, in Senate there, when King is telling Sifuna that he has to call President His Excellency, because that's what the parliamentary language and I just want to explain what's going on here. The dishonesty in Kenya Kwanza is legendary. And when they're playing reverse psychology, do you know yesterday, when the president was going to Mathare, he didn't go with the senator, not with the senator or any MP or any Nairobi leader. Why did the Nairobi leaders boycott that meeting? Now, Sakaja, I understand, was in parliament. But if he will say that they were going to be with the president in Mathare, the senators would have just accepted his to give him his way, and didn't go. Not the senator. The senator, no, you don't expect him, and the other Nairobi leaders, they didn't go to Mathare. Why? Because the county disaster management kitty, it is not that, like what Sifuna is saying, that not that they give all the money, then you deduct 2% and put in some disaster management. No, that money remains with the national government. And since January, if you follow the devolution, money has never been paid. So what is the plan? Kindly subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell and like our videos. And thank you very much for your support. Now, I want to explain this. The decline to, and Azimio was asking that declare these floods a national disaster so that, number one, we will get foreign support, and number two, the counties will then receive that 2%. Remember, I told you that 2% that the government withholds under the PFM Act is normally kept for disaster management, but it's only applicable after the government declares something a national, a phenomenon, a national disaster. So you and I should know the reason why that the floods have not been declared a national disaster is because they don't want to release that money so that the government can remain with the money. The national government can remain with the money. And when the national government remains with the money, you know what it means. Do you know in the national government, in the Ministry of Health, there is emergency fund. In the Ministry of Education, there is an emergency fund. In the Ministry of Interior, That's the headquarters of emergency fund. Now counties don't have that money. So the governors, the MPs are reduced as beggars, begging for relief food. You need to go to, that is what the structure is, that you need now to go to the deputy president, look so and so, so that give that money. I understand in Kisumu, in Ahero, the government spokesman, Isaac Mwaura, is supposed to be in Kisumu to do some relief food. You see, this is supposed to be with the counties. But I think even the draft of the constitution really did it. They wrote it, they made it deliberate that you have to be a beggar to get that money. But two, they would want, the national government would want to run the program so that they just gain political mileage. I'm telling you, those who have been giving relief food are just the first lady, ministers. Now, if a minister or an MP wants to, to gain some mileage, he will just go to Gachagua, ask for some money, then he'll be given some relief food to go and give. Even yesterday when the president was talking in Mukuru, he was talking about that 10,000 shillings and the interventions. I think what will be the intervention was to build the houses. But in terms of what, the drainage and the other things, activities that are supposed to be done, that is supposed to be done by the county. And that has not been done because they remain with the money. And they would want to run the program so that they gain that mileage. Number three, regarding Gachagua, who chairs that emergency committee, is the person managing the kitty. If they've never given, even if counties are yet to receive their money, in January it's been an on and off since January, then that means even that 2% is not there. So when I'm seeing senators asking, what have they done with the other money? You wonder, where is this money you're asking the governors? Because they have not been sent that money. In fact, there is on-source revenue. Now, the disaster money was not on on-source revenue. What the government wants is, they remain with that 2%, then the few coins that counties have been collecting in those areas are the ones that should be used for disaster management. Which some counties would be, but how about if, like, these floods have been overwhelming, that even most counties is beyond the capacity of most counties. So instead of remaining with all the money, what is so difficult by declaring this a national disaster, and then you release the money? And Sifuna is asking, why did it take 2 weeks for you to go to Mathare, then you go there and give 10,000? Where have these people been for the last 15 days? It's a very good question. That's I'm telling you. Sifuna, wait, not for Raila. Hey, not been easy. Thank you.